Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Ajnanaatimirandasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Jena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Namam Vishnupadaya Krishna Prashtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namine. Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय, श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय, नरसिंहदेव भगवान की जय, भक्तराज प्रहलाद महाराज की जय. So we're continuing studying from 10th chapter 51 text from 7th canto. Am I right? Is it 51, right?
Yes.
Sa esha bhagavan rajan vyatanodvihatam yashah pura rudrasya devasya mayenanta mayina. My dear King Yudhishthir, long ago in history, a demon known as Maya Danava, who was very expert in technical knowledge, reduced the reputation of Lord Shiva. In that situation, Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, saved Lord Shiva. Lord Shiva is known as Mahadeva, the most exalted demigod. Thus, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says that although Lord Brahma did not know the glories of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Shiva could have known. This historical incident proves that Lord Shiva derives power from Lord Krishna, the Parabrahman. Jai Mahadev ki Jai. Rajo Vacha Kasmin Karmani Devasya Mayohan Jagadishutu Yatha Kopachita Kirtihi Krishnanena Katayatam Krishnanena Katyatam. Maharaj Yudhishthir said, for what reason did the demon Maya Danava vanquish Lord Shiva's reputation? How did Lord Krishna save Lord Shiva and expand his reputation again? Kindly describe these incidents. Shri Narada Vacha Nirjita Asura Devair Yudhya Yudhyanenopabrimhitai Mayinam Paramacharyam Mayam Sharanam Ayuyu. Narad Muni said, when the demigods, who are always powerful by the mercy of Lord Krishna, fought with the Asuras were defeated, and therefore they took shelter of Maya Danava, the greatest of the demons. Sanirmaya Purastishro Haimiraupyayasir Vibhu Durlakshapaya Samyoga Durvitarkya Parichadaha Tabhiste Surasenanyo Lokam Strinteshwaran Nripa Smaranto Nashayam Chakruhu Purva Vairam Alakshita. Maya Danava, the great leader of the demons, prepared 3 invisible residences and gave them to the demons. These dwellings resembled airplanes made of gold, silver, and iron, and they contained uncommon paraphernalia. My dear King Yudhishthir, because of these 3 dwellings, the commanders of the demons remained invisible to the demigods. Taking advantage of this opportunity, demons, remembering their former enmity, began to vanquish the 3 worlds, the upper, middle, and lower planetary systems. Who likes to read next?
Tataste Ishvaraloka upasadheshwaram nata prahinastava kandeva vinashtam tripuralayai. Thereafter, when the demons had begun to destroy the higher planetary systems, rulers of those planets went to Lord Shiva, fully surrendered unto him, and said, Dear Lord, we demigods living in the three worlds are about to be vanquished. We are your followers. Kindly save us. Atano griya bhagavan ma vaishteti suran vibhu sharam danu shishandaya. The most powerful and able Lord Shiva reassured them and said, Do not be afraid. He then fixed his arrows to his bow and released them toward the three residences occupied by the demons. Tatugnivarna Ishava Utpetu Suryamandalat Yatamayuka Sanduha Madrishyanta Puroyata. The arrows released by Lord Shiva appeared like fiery beams emanating from the sun globe and covered the three residential airplanes, which could then no longer be seen. Tahi sprishta vyasava sarve, tahi sprisha vyasava sarve nipetusma uraukasha. Tanmaniya Mahayogi Maya Kuparasikshipat. Attacked by Lord Shiva, golden arrows, all the demoniac inhabitants of those three dwellings lost their lives and fell down. Then the great mystic Mahayadanava dropped demons into a nectarian well that he had created for Srila Prabhupada. The asuras are generally extremely powerful because of their mystic yogic power. However, as Lord Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita 647, Yoginam api sarvesham mangatenan taratmana shradhavam bhajati yomam samayukta tamomata. Of all yogis, he who always abides in me with great faith, worshiping me in transcendental loving service, is most intimately united with me in yoga and is the highest of all. The actual purpose of mystic yoga is to concentrate one's attention fully on the personality of God, Krishna, and always think of him. Mad Gatena Antaratmana. To attain such perfection, one must undergo a certain process, Hatha Yoga. When through this yoga system, the practitioner achieves some uncommon mystic power. The Asuras, however, instead of becoming devotees of Krishna, utilize this mystic power for a personal sense gratification. Mahadanava, for example, is mentioned here as Mahayogi, a great mystic, but his business was to help the Asuras. Nowadays, we are actually seeing that there are some yogis who cater to the senses of materialists, and there are imposters who advertise themselves as God. Mahadanava was such a person, a god among the demons, and he could perform some wonderful feats, one of which is described here. Made a well filled with nectar and dipped the asuras into the nectarian well. This nectar was known as Mritya Sanjivaitari, for it could bring a dead body to life. Mritya Sanjivaitari is also an Ayurvedic preparation. It's a kind of liquor that invigorates even a person on the verge of death.
Wow. You want to comment anything about that? Anybody has any comments or questions? These are all real, huh? These are not fantasy. They are real stories. Someone else likes to continue reading?
Yes, Mataji. Siddhamrita rasa sprishta vajrasara mahauchasaha uttastirmegha dharana vaidyuta tava vahanayaha. Trying to rotate my. When the dead bodies of the demon came in touch with the nectar, their bodies became invincible to thunderbolts. Endowed with greater strength, they got up like lightning, penetrating clouds. Vilokaya bhagna sankalpam vimanaskam vrisadvajam tadyam bhagavan Vishnu statropayam akalapyat. Seeing Lord Shiva very much aggrieved and disappointed, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Vishnu, considered how to stop this nuisance created by Maya Danava. Vatsas chasitad brahma swayam Vishnur ayam higau pravisyasya tripuram kale rasa kupamritam papau. Then Lord Brahma became a calf and Lord Vishnu a cow, and at noon they entered the residences and drank all the nectar in the well.
Wow. Can you imagine Brahma, a little calf, and Lord Vishnu, a cow?
Te surya hi api pashyanto nanyaseden vimohitah tadvignaya mahayogi rasapalan idam jagau smayan vishoka sokartan smaran daiva gatim chatam. The demons could see the calf and cow, but because of the illusion created by the energy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the demons could not forbid them. The great mystic Maya Danava became aware that the calf and cow were drinking the nectar, and he could understand this to be unseen power of providence. Thus he spoke to the demons who were grievously lamenting. देवासुरो नर देवोऽसुरो नरो नैव्या नेश्वरो स्थिता कश्चन आत्मनोऽन्यस्य वादिष्टं दैवानोपहितं द्वयोः. Mayadanava said, what has been destined by the Supreme Lord for oneself, for others, or for both oneself and others cannot be undone anywhere or by anyone, whether one is a demigod, a demon, a human being, or anyone else. The Supreme Lord is one, Krishna, the Vishnu Tattva. Krishna expands himself into the Vishnu Tattva, personal expansion, Swamsa, who control everything. Maya Danava said, however, I plan, you plan, or both of us plan. The Lord has planned what is to happen. No one's plan will be successful without his sanction. We may make our own various plans, but unless they are sanctioned by the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Vishnu, they will never be successful. Hundreds and millions of plans are made by all kinds of living entities, but without the sanction of the Supreme Lord, they are futile.
That's so true. There is a Vaishnava Acharya Bhajan. He says, Hari Chitta Satya Nama Nara Chittake Bandadu Lavalesha Nade Yadu Hari Chitta Satya. Essentially, is this point that no one's plan will be successful without the sanction of the Lord. And it says, what he has planned, if it comes to us, we will not know. And what we have planned, as they say, how do you say? Man proposes and God disposes. That's essentially. And then he says, ಸದಾ ಅನ್ನದಾನವ ಬಯಸೋದು ನರ ಚಿತ್ತ ಉದರಕ್ಕೆ ಅಳುವುದು ಹರಿ ಚಿತ್ತವಯ್ಯ. So the human being may plan, I will do so much charity, I will do annadana to so many people. That may be the human being's plan. But the Lord's plan may be that you yourself don't have anything to eat and you are starving. And then ಸುದತಿ ಮಕ್ಕಳ ಭಾಗ್ಯ ಬಯಸೋದು ನರ ಚಿತ್ತ ಮದುವೆಯಾಗದಿರುವುದು ಹರಿ ಚಿತ್ತವಯ್ಯ. So the human being plans, okay, at this age, I'm going to finish my education and then I'm going to get married and then I'm going to have children. And that's his plan. And the Lord's plan is the person doesn't get married at all. So it goes on and on and on about the human being proposes and Krishna has a different plan like that. And it's cannot be truer that without the sanction of the Lord, whatever we plan is just so better to just say, Krishna, your will and not mine be done. Then we can relax. Let Krishna do the heavy lifting. Okay. Somebody else likes to read? So
Okay, I can.
Oh, go on. No, go on, Nitya Kishore.
अथा शक्तिभिः स्वभिः शम्भो प्रादानिकं व्यदात् धर्मज्ञानविरक्त्यरिद्धि तपो विद्या क्रियादिभिः रथं सूतं ध्वजं वाहनं धनुर्वर्मा शारदीयत् तन्नद्धोरथम् आस्थाय शरं धनुरुपाददे. Narad Muni continued. Thereafter, Lord Krishna, by his own personal potency, consisting of religion, knowledge, renunciation, opulence, austerity, education, and activities, equipped Lord Shiva with all the necessary paraphernalia, such as chariot, charioteer, a flag, horses, elephants, a bow, a shield, and arrows. When Lord Shiva was fully equipped in this way, he sat down on the chariot with his arrows and bow to fight with demons. Purport. As stated in Srimad Bhagavatam 12, 13, 16, Vaishnavanam Yatha Shambhu. Lord Shiva is the best of the Vaishnavas, the devotee of Lord Krishna. Indeed, he is one of the Mahajans, the 12 authorities on Vaishnava philosophy. Swayambhu, Narada, Shambhu, Kumara, Kapila, Manu, etc. Lord Krishna is always prepared to help all the Mahajans and devotees in every respect. Kaunteya prati janihi, na me bhakta pranashyati. Although Lord Shiva is very powerful, he lost a battle to the Asuras and thereafter he was morose and disappointed. However, because he is one of the chief devotees of Lord, the Lord personally equipped him with all the paraphernalia for the war. The devotee therefore must serve the Lord sincerely, and Krishna is always in the background to protect him and, if need be, to equip him fully to fight with his enemy. For devotees, there is no scarcity of knowledge or material requisites for spreading Krishna conscious movement.
Jai. I like this point that we don't need to kind of lose our calm. The Lord always has a backup plan, although it may look like life may look unclear, scary. We must make that jump of trusting the Lord. I like when Prabhupada says Krishna is always in the background to protect him. And if need be, yeah, remember that, to equip him fully to fight with his enemy. For devotees, there's no scarcity of knowledge. I like the point that Krishna is always in the background to protect you. It's such a, when we experience in our life, how Krishna was there, somebody helped us, somehow it was there. So like we gain faith, and then one after another. So we build that eagerness more and more towards becoming attached to Krishna. You can continue, Nitikeshwari Mataji.
Okay. Charam dhanushi sandhyaya muhurate bhijiteshwaraha dadāhatena durbhedya haro atha tripuro nirpa. My dear King Yudhishthir, the most powerful Lord Shiva joined the arrows to his bow, and at noon he set fire to all three residences of the demons and thus destroyed them.
Wow.
Divi Dundubhayo Nedur Vimana Shata Sankula Devarshi Pitri Siddhesha Jayati Kusmut Kusumotkarai Avi Ava Kiranjagur Hrishta Nanritus Chapasarogana. Seated in their airplanes in the sky, the inhabitants of the higher planetary system beat many kettle drums. The demigods, saints, Pitas, Siddharth, and various great personalities showered flowers on the head of Lord Shiva, wishing him all victory. And the Apsaras began to chant and dance with great pleasure.
Jai Mahadev ki jai.
Evam dattva purusastisro Bhagavan puraha nripa Brahmadhibhi tuyamanaha Svam dhama pratyapaddata. O King Yudhishthira, thus Lord Shiva is known as Tripurari, the annihilator of three dwellings of demons, because he burned these dwellings to ashes. Being worshipped by the demigods, headed by Lord Brahma, Lord Shiva returned to his own abode.
Tripurari.
Evam vidyan yasya hare swa mayaya vidam manasya nrilokam atmana viryani gitanya rishibhir jagad gurur lokam punananya param vadami kim. The Lord Shri Krishna appeared as human being, yet he performed many uncommon and wonderful pastimes by his own potency. How can I say more about his activities than what has already been said by great saintly persons? Everyone can be purified by his activities simply by hearing about them from right source. Purport. Bhagavad Gita and all the Vedic literatures fully explain that the Supreme Personality of Godhead Krishna appears in human society as an ordinary human being, but acts very uncommonly for the well-being of entire world. One should not be influenced by the illusory energy and think Lord Krishna to be an ordinary human being. Those who really seek absolute truth come to understanding that Krishna is everything, Vasudevam Sarvamiti. Such great souls are very rare. Nonetheless, if one studies the entire Bhagavad Gita as it is, Krishna is very easy to understand. The Krishna conscious movement is just trying to make Krishna known all over the world as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Krishnastu Bhagwan Swayam. If people take this movement seriously, their lives as human beings will be successful. Thus ends the Bhaktivedanta purport of 7th canto, 10th chapter of Srimad Bhagavatam, entitled Prahlada, the best among exalted devotees. Jai.
Jai Prahlad Maharaj ki Jai Nrsimhadev Bhagavan ki Jai Maharaj ki Jai. So we completed 7th canto. Should we just go over the chapters just to get oh sorry, just a second. Okay. So just like overview, we finished 15 chapters of Canto 7, the signs of God as Prabhupada calls it. Any questions or comments? Anything about Prahlad Maharaj? Any specific points that you may have studied earlier and you have some questions? Or Kantya Prabhu, if you have any specific comment or...
No.
Okay. Anybody else? Any other questions?
Yes, Mataji, in the verse it
Mataji, I
says
have.
Krishna. Sorry, go ahead, Mataji.
So, in the recent verses where nothing, and we've heard this, like, nothing happens without the sanction of the Lord, right? Where do our acts come? Like, so our acts are still our free will to do, right? So, like, when does that come, the sanction of the Lord? In that process of our acting, or in the process of the thought, or the action itself?
I'm not sure I captured the whole
Matt,
question. When does
so the thing, so it says that nothing happens without the sanction of the Lord, right? So let's say I'm like, there is an act that I'm doing, right? It could be like a good act or a bad act, right? So when does, like, so there is my own free will that I am doing a certain like I'm desiring for it and then I'm acting on it, right? So when in this process does the sanction of the Lord come? Is it in the thought? Is it in the desire is ours, but in the action, that's when the thing happens. Like if it's a bad action, I like conveniently can say it doesn't happen without the sanction of the Lord. So the Lord approved it, right?
Yeah. I can give my thing, but then Kante Prabhu can give us his opinion. So from my understanding, the question is, when does actually the sanction of the Lord occur? Does it occur in our thoughts when we start desiring, or does it happen during the action, or does it happen during the result?
Yes.
Yeah. So my limited understanding is that according to Gita, it happens everywhere or every stage. Even the desire comes because of the Lord. There is that verse. What is that? Hala pushpa balligala valage harivyaptanendavritavage. It means like in the seed is the Lord's hand, and then the branches also, and the fruit also, like that. Like every stage there is the Lord's hand or the Lord's sanction. At the same time, if we're talking about the ultimate result, like for example, karmanyevadikaraste ma phaleshu kadachana, you are entitled to act, but you're not entitled to the results. So my understanding is it's in the result. Actually, the Lord's sanction is seen through the result, but his sanction is present everywhere. Am I right, Kantaya Prabhu? Would you like to expand upon this principle of the Lord's sanction? Where does it actually begin, and how does it manifest?
See, the soul cannot do anything with its subtle and gross body, and without the sanction of Paramatma. The soul doesn't have the power to move the material energy, because that's Krishna say, Maya Kshina Prakriti. The Prakriti, the material energy, works under the supervision of Krishna. So anything at every level, like Srila Govindadasi was explaining, on the subtle level of thinking, on the physical level of the action and on the level of the consequences or result of the action, all need sanction. In other words, for instance, and the sanction is according to the karma of the individual or the plan of the Lord in case of devotees. So, for instance, one is thinking, a person can only think according to his capacity. Like somebody think in a very, we could say, stupid way, that, okay, he's in the trouble, so he will go and drink some alcohol, take shelter in alcohol or drugs. So that's also sanction. But sanction does not mean approved in the sense of agreed. Sanction simply means that, okay, we have our karma and Krishna allows us to experience our karma. So even thinking, we're not completely free. Like one dog also thinks, but how much can he think? He cannot just write a PhD thesis. So we, according to our capacity, we can think, but even that thinking is controlled by the Lord. So, and then the action, the body, the soul doesn't have the power to move the body. This is explained in Bhagavad Gita in chapter 18. Like there are 5 elements, 5 ingredients of the action: the body, the senses, the endeavor, the author, the soul, and then the Daiva, the Lord. And then, of course, even after the action performed with the body and with the mind, the result is in the hand of the Lord. Again, according to karma. Like 2 people buy a lottery ticket, one wins and one wins nothing. The same action. No, one thinks, okay, I'll buy a lottery ticket. Both the 2 people think of the same thing. Oh, I'll go and buy a lottery ticket. Then both they go and give the money and get the ticket. Same action. Then one wins $1 million, say, and the other wins nothing. Just lost $2. So at every level, but we need to understand that when we say sanction, it does not mean that the Lord is responsible. He's simply arranging according to people's karma, people's desires. So he's not responsible for none of these stages: the thinking, the acting, and the consequences.
Yeah, I think that's core of personal explanation also. Yeah, please continue. Sorry.
So, in other words, some people may think, well, the Lord let me do it, therefore it's His desire. No, it's like, say, for instance, the government. You have government establish a prison house, and in the prison house there are so many dynamics. There is certain cells for certain type of what you call crimes. Then you also have isolation cells, which is a harder type of punishment. But you cannot just say, oh, I was put in isolation because the warden, the person in charge of the prison, wanted. No, the warden simply deals with what's your actions. Some people don't go at all in the jail. They don't go. Most people don't go to jail in their whole life. But some people go to jail. Then there are certain dynamics. But you cannot say, oh, the warden wished me to do this, or the minister for justice wished me to do this, or the police wished me to do this. No, it's one's own desire and one's own consequences. Just like the government builds a prison, but you cannot say, oh, so the government wants the people to go to prison. Can't think like that. It's not true.
So, Prabhu, if like somebody has a desire to kill somebody, steal something, or do any bad thing, so it means it's his desire, but ultimately is approved by the Lord, sanctioned by the Lord.
Sanction. Yeah, Prabhu said there's a difference between approved and sanctioned.
But it's approved. No, I mean, in one sense, it's the same thing. But approved does not mean that he see, approved. It's a word that can be used in different ways. It's like you have again the same example. There is a prisoner in the normal jail, in normal prison. Then he misbehaves, he acts in a violent way. Then the police goes to the warden. We understand the warden is the person in charge of the prison. The policeman goes to the warden and they say, hey, this person should be in isolation. And so the warden signs or put the rubber stamp. So you can say, oh, it's approved by the warden. Approved by the warden, not that it's approved that the person acted violently. It's approved in the sense that the punishment is approved.
Mm.
The rules are applied. So approved is a tricky word because approval generally is a psychological thing, meaning, oh, I approve of this. You follow? When they say, oh, I approve of this, means I like it, I support it. But approved also means the mechanical aspect of just saying, okay, let this happen. So the warden does not approve psychologically of the prisoner being violent, but it approves technically that he goes into isolation. Is it clear?
Yeah,
Yeah.
thank you, Prabhu.
But then let's say the inspiration, let's say to go and steal or something, somewhere or another, even that desire or that desire to want to steal is somehow or another also connected to the Lord, right? On the Lord only can give us.
It's connected to the Lord, obviously, but this is the prison of the gunas. So somebody who is in tamoguna will have tamasic desires, tamasic plans, like stealing or doing drugs. So it is the guna that Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, now 13:22. You can read it. That according to how one associates with the guna, one ends up in good and bad situations. These are the gunas. So one associates with passion, he will have a lot of desire, ambition, and one who associates with tamoguna will have many destructive ideas, like killing people and things like that. So yes, Krishna gives us this prison house made by the three gunas, and according to our choices, we act according to how we associate with the guna. So
I think it's a very case by case basis. What's the desire? How much is karma? Why the Lord lets something happen? Why the Lord doesn't let certain things happen? I think it's a very individual. The answer can be based on the situation, right?
well, there is a general idea of case by case. Like I said, it's like a lottery. The people may have the same desires and they may do the same action, but one wins and one doesn't win. And like in business, two people invest the same money, say the same amount of money. One invests in something that is successful, one invests in something which is unsuccessful. Yeah, obviously, people have their different karmas. So with the same effort, some people get much more and some people get much less. It's like football players or cricket players, if you're more familiar with cricket. They all work very hard, right? I mean, they do the same training, the same exercises, the same, they have the same coach and everything. But somebody's just better. More lucky in how he beats the ball, more focused, more expert, more capable in hitting this ball or catching the ball. But everybody does the same thing, right? I mean, it's not that one trains less. They're all working very hard, but somehow somebody has that capacity, innate capacity, because of his karma. They all try to do the same thing. You know, the ball comes, they try to catch it. Some people catch more balls, some people don't catch many balls.
Yeah, I guess, I'm thinking like, say, so there is say I want to do something which is not really approved by society or whatever, but then there is a desire and then I start doing it, and then Krishna kind of facilitates it, or like everything kind of appears to be like, especially, okay, what if my motivation has been, or if Krishna wants, let this happen, Krishna, stop me if you don't want me to do this, then it still happens. Can we say it is Krishna's will or not? You know what I'm particularly talking about.
Ooh, I don't know.
You know.
No, I don't know.
Oh, okay.
Well, the point is, you see, to know that the will of the Lord is not so cheap. So it's not that, how do you know that that's really the will of the Lord? It's like, it's a great science. It's just like if you today you say, oh, I want to become a doctor. It's not that people come and give you a certificate, now you're a doctor. Okay, go study for many years, do all the exams, study all the books, do all the practices, then one day you become a doctor. Now, the initial desire is essential, otherwise you never become a doctor. So similarly, you say, oh, I want, if Krishna wants, this should happen. Yeah, but first of all, what does it mean Krishna wants? Krishna is a Paramatma. He puts salts in the body of worms, in stool, and cats, and dogs, and elephant, mosquitoes. But it's not these personal desires. So that's why we need to understand these words. They are multidimensional. What does it mean, wants? Again, it's not that the warden in the prison wants the person to be violent or wants the person to go in isolation. But if the person acts like this, yeah, okay, I sign, you go into isolation. So, but the other thing to understand the will of the Lord, how eager are you? You're just saying, hey, please give me, your Lord, give me direction. Then you forget all day, or you keep praying, you keep doing some austerity to focus, or how eager you are, like that. Are you inquiring? Are you studying? If I just say, Krishna, Krishna, tell me what you want me to do, then I read newspaper all day, or what does it mean, you know?
Okay. Yes.
So also we know, as devotees, as practicing bhakti yogis, we know certain things that Krishna doesn't want us to do, right? You know, you cannot say, well, I'm smoking a cigarette, maybe it's what Krishna wants me to do. That's kind of cheating, because we know, we took vows, I don't smoke, so we know smoke is not something that Krishna wants. So certain things are already clear that Krishna doesn't want. It's not because, okay, somebody offers us a cigarette, oh, well, that means Krishna wants me to smoke, because otherwise, why this comes like this? By providence. I was just walking, somebody say, hey, you want to smoke? Oh yeah, it must be Krishna, because, you know, for free I get a cigarette. Obviously, that's like a cheating mentality.
Okay, got it.
So it means, Mataji, like if somebody wants to hurt somebody and somebody is being hurted, so it means their some karmas are there of both of them connected, and that's why it is being allowed, their desires, past desires and all. And because of all this, it is being allowed by the Lord to somebody hurts something and then somebody gets hurted and all.
Yeah, it's like, no, so today somebody goes to steal, and he might have the karma to be successful, go into a house and steal something of value. and the person who is the owner of the house has the karma to be robbed. So Krishna puts them all together, both together.
Yeah, like Mahabharata, right?
Another day, you have a thief who has the karma to get caught, and he will go to a house and he will be caught by the police, and the person in the house doesn't have the karma to be robbed. So Krishna arranges the movement of the living entities according to their karma. That's Paramatma.
Mm. Yeah. But I guess ultimately it's about us taking shelter, no, even in the situation, say we are the victim, then we can we can allow Krishna in, and then through the same karmic experience, we may learn something amazing. We may actually get over the karma and achieve something very good. Like something happened in my life that I realized it was not like a nice thing, but then I realized that because of that thing, some nice things came as a result of trying to cure that thing. So sometimes, like, it's not that because of a mistake I did, the mistake helped me. It's not like that, but because of me taking shelter of Krishna during the mistake helps. So the Krishna factor can release us from lifetimes of karma, but the pain sometimes reminds us to call to Krishna and take shelter of Krishna. So, you know what I'm trying to say is sometimes I may feel bad when I'm hurt by somebody. Somebody is trying to, abuse me or whatever. It's not nice, obviously, and it may be my karma. But in those moments where I'm abused and the way I'm calling out to Krishna, I would not call out if it was not for that. You know what I mean? So,
Yeah, yes, Mataji.
in,
So with
I
that
don't.
pain, we can take shelter, we can grow in our bhakti and embrace Krishna. So I know it's not pleasant, but it's like we are learning, and Krishna is giving that situation so that we grow out of that.
Yeah, I mean, he may not give that situation like that, but it may happen. But when we call to Krishna, then Krishna can turn that situation into some beneficial, favorable. In other words, it's not that Krishna sends somebody, go use this person so they take shelter of me. He's not like a narcissistic, sadistic psychopath or something. He's not sitting there thinking which devotee, which problem I can say. Not really like that. But because of my karma, some karma from some previous life, I have something that's there that will cause me some suffering, right? And Krishna, okay, allows that to happen, but somehow grace of the spiritual master and the grace of Krishna, in those moments, I'm remembering Krishna. I'm taking shelter of the holy name. I'm taking shelter of Srimad Bhagavatam. And that strengthens my character, strengthens my devotion. And maybe without that situation, I may not have done that. I may have been complacent. So Krishna helps me to utilize the situation to become serious. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Thank you, Mataji. Really makes sense.
Because like Prabhu said, the same situation, somebody may become abuser. Somebody who is abused will become an abuser. And somebody else may take more shelter of Krishna and open homes to help people who are abused. You know? So the event, the abuse, the karma is not the point. Krishna is the point. Even Duryodhana was very insecure and he has his issues. Dhritarashtra was born blind. It's not that they didn't have problems. They had problems. But the way they handled was different. But Arjuna and Bhima also was poisoned. But the way he handled was taking shelter of the Lord. So it's not true that bad karma will make us serious. Bad karma is there, but depending on how we take shelter or whether we take shelter or not is the point. Any other points, any other comments or questions? We have 10 minutes. Yeah.
It's really nice that, when we are in like really need, we should take deeper shelter and our bhajan should be strong, and then we can see the opposite side of, the hurt or the pain that we're going through. It's so nice to hear, Mataji.
Sometimes Krishna prepares us to understand what that pain means so we can help others who are also in that situation. We can pray, let this pain transform me and turn into opportunity to serve, like that. I mean, Prahlad Maharaj's case, he uses it for transforming. He's naturally a devotee, so he didn't have so much issues. But Dhruva is a good case of, he was abused, right? Poor baby, he was abused. But he turned to the Lord. And then, maybe if he was not abused, everything was very nice and all, he would have just been an ordinary prince. But because he was abused, he became the greatest prince. And he's there up in the sky every day. We can see Dhruva Loka. I mean, he's not there. His Loka is there. I'm just saying. So I usually feel like, say failure is a stepping stone for success. So sometimes there is that kick that wakes us up, Those who come from perfect family, perfect marriage, it's harder for them to kind of helplessly take shelter. But those who come from abusive homes, they have difficult situation, that in that prayer, when you have maybe not a supportive family, or maybe not so understanding partner or something, or children are troublesome, then there is more alertness and more eagerness and more surrender and more, that there is that, there can be that element there. Actually, I used to say there will be, and Kantya Prabhu used to correct me. There, well, not necessarily. Sometimes we're not really. We can begin tomorrow, the 8th canto, right?
We still have a few chapters of the 7th canto.
Do we? No, we finished.
Check again. Still have five chapters.
Oh, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Oh, yeah, you're right. I somehow thought that the 7th canto is done. Okay, we have some minutes. We can start with Rukmini Priya Mataji, if you like to read the introduction.
Sure. The perfect society, four social classes. This chapter describes the general principles by following which a human being, and specifically one who is interested in advancing in spiritual life, can become perfect. By hearing about the characteristics of Prahlad Maharaj, Maharaj Yudhisthira became extremely pleased. Now he inquired from Narada Muni about the actual religion of a human being and about special characteristics of Varnashra Dharma, which marks the highest status of human civilization. When Maharaj Yudhisthira asked Narada Muni about these matters, Narada Muni stopped giving his own statements and quoted statements by Lord Narayana. For he is the supreme authority for giving religious codes. Dharmam tu saksat bhagavat pranitam. Every human being is accepted to acquire 30 qualities, such as truthfulness, mercy, and austerity. The process of following the principles of religion is known as Sanatana Dharma, the eternal religious system. The Varnashna ashram system delineates the divisions of Brahma, Kshatriya, Vaishya, and Sudra. It also sets forth the system of samskaras. The Garbhadana samskara, the ceremony for begetting a child, must be absorbed by the higher section of people, namely the Dvijas. One should follow the Garbhadana samskara system. One who follows the Garbhadana samskara system is actually twice born. But those who do not, who deviate from the principles of Varnashra Dharma, are called Dvija Bandhus. The principal occupations for a Brahmana are worshipping the deity, teaching others how to worship the deity, studying the Vedic literatures, teaching the Vedic literatures, accepting charity from others, and again giving charity to others. A Brahmana should make his livelihood from these 6 occupational duties. The duty of a Kshatriya is to give protection to the citizens and levy taxes upon them, but he is forbidden to tax the Brahmanas. The members of the Krishna conscious movement should therefore be exempt from government taxation.
Srila Prabhupada.
Kshatriyas may tax everyone but the Brahmanas. Vaishyas should cultivate the land, produce fruit grains, and protect the cows, whereas the Sudras, who by quality never become Brahmanas, Kshatriyas or Vaishyas, should serve the 3 higher classes and be satisfied. Other means of livelihood are also prescribed for the Brahmanas, and these are 4: Salina, Yaya, Vara, Sila, and Unchana. Each of these occupational duties is successfully better. One who is in a lower grade of social life cannot accept the profession of a higher class unless necessary. In the times of emergency, all the classes but the Kshatriyas must accept professional duties of others. The means of livelihood known as
Except.
Rita, Silochana, Amrita, Achita, Mirta, Yachna, Pratna, Karsana, and Satyaranta Vanija must be accepted by everyone but the Kshatriyas. For a Brahmana or a Kshatriya, engaging in the service of the Vaishyas or Sudras is considered the profession of dogs. Narada Muni also described that the symptoms of a Brahmana is controlled senses. The symptoms of a Kshatriya are power and fame, and the symptom of a Vaishya is service to the Brahmanas and Kshatriyas, and the symptom of a Sudra is service to the 3 higher classes. The qualification for a woman is to be very faithful and chaste wife. In this way, Narada Muni described the characteristics of higher and lower grades of people and recommended that one follow the principles of his caste or his hereditary occupation. One cannot suddenly give up a profession to which he is accustomed, and therefore it is recommended that one gradually be awakened. The symptoms of a Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, and Sudras are very important, and therefore one should be designed only by these symptoms and not by birth. Designation by birth is strictly forbidden by Narada Muni and all the great personalities.
So this whole chapter is going to be about the Varnashrama. It's going to be interesting. Kantya Prabhu will have a lot to share on this chapter, because he wrote some books about Varnashram and he's an expert in this topic. So we look forward to hear more. If you have any questions about Varnashram and all, keep it ready and you can shoot at him. So we can end here for today. Any other last comments? Closing comments for today? For me, the simple thing that stood was that point that without Krishna's sanction, nothing is possible. How even a blade of grass cannot move unless there is the will of the Lord. That part is a lot to digest. Which means I don't have to freak out when things don't work my way. I can just say, I was not in control. All right. Gantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Nrsimha Bhagwan ki jai. Prahlad Maharaj ki jai. Why does this 4 classes begin in the 7th canto after Prahlad Maharaj story?
Srila Prabhupada saying in the summary, that Yudhishthira Maharaj started asking about them.
Oh, yeah.
The series of answers.
All right. See you tomorrow. See you for the shloka class. Hari bol.
Very
Thank you
well.
so
Very good.
much. Hari